everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I decided that for September, I need some kind of a challenge. I need like a thing that I can do. And also I've been doing this sort of unofficially for a while anyway, which is like using things in my studio, stashing down. So I thought I would bring you on, particles of that journey with me. I'm going to try to do a video every day of September, but I won't make an official promise because things, life, all those things happen, but I'm going to try. So this is September Stash Smash. You are totally welcome to do this with me. You can use the hashtag September Stash Smash. I think that's fine. Or shorten it maybe to septstashsmash. Let's do that. Let's make it official while we're here. Let's make it official. Where shall I put this? Maybe here, right? Yeah, this is a good dark pen. So September, S-E-P-T, stash. I'm just like my daughter where she's like, I don't have enough room. That's okay. September Stash Smash. That's what we're going to call it because I'm here to try to smash down my stash a bit. So what is this going to be? What is this content going to be? It is going to be every day that I do this, I'm going to be like using something up in my studio. So the objective is to mostly not print new things, or like create new things, but like use what you have. And like, it can be to work on a project you're already working on. It can be to create ephemera for your stash. It could be to just like, hey, you know what? I've got a lot of children's books and like, I probably don't need them all. So I'm going to tear them apart. I'm going to see what images that I want to use, and just save those pages. And then I'll have them prepped to go into my journal. I'll paste them in as I'm journaling. They're my inspirations. They could be prepped for a glue book. You could decide, if you have like that, stash of children's books, maybe you want to make a bunch of greeting cards. Maybe you want to plan for Halloween greetings or Christmas greetings or something like that. Just we're here to bring it down. So today what I'm stashing down is essentially a book, because I have a nice big stack of beautiful old books and I'm trying to bring them down a little bit so that I can, probably get more, I'm not going to lie, but I have been walking away a lot from old books lately though, because I'm just feeling kind of like I have enough of them. I love using them. That's not going to change. I'm always going to use them. But yeah, I just think, we get these things to use them. So this is Fisherman's Luck by Henry Van Dyke, and this is my favorite color of blue. I don't know what color, maybe it's like, is this royal blue? I don't know, celadon blue, I forget, but it's just this blue. It's like almost an aquamarine, but it doesn't have enough green to be one, but it's like kind of, I don't even know. This is a good blue, right? So the beginning of this book, or the front of this book, sorry, it says Salvanora edition, and it's got this gorgeous embossing, both on the spine with an old label there that kind of wore off, which is cool. And then the front. So the pages are quite old. It's got this beautiful, look at this, Gasca Library and Bookshop Limited. Open from 8:30 to 6:30 daily, except Friday. And they, it's like a library thing. So I might try to keep this intact. That might be my objective here. And then in here, we've got Fisherman's Luck, little image there, 1927. This is property of Herbert Taradash. So yeah, oh, look at this dedication. Oh, I love that. To my lady gray gown. To my lady gray gown. Come on. That's so cute. Copyright 1927. Originally 1899. So here is the basket. I bring it home to you. There are no great fish in it, but perhaps there may be one or two little ones which will be to your taste. And there are a few shining pebbles from the bed of the brook, and ferns from the cool green woods, and wildflowers from the places that you remember. I would fain console you, if I could, for the hardship of having married an angler, a man who relapses into his mania with the return of every spring, and never sees a little river without wishing to fish in it. But after all, we have had good times together. as we have followed the stream of life towards the sea, and we have passed through the dark days without losing heart because we are comrades. So let this book tell you one thing that is certain. In all the life of your fisherman, the best piece of luck is just you. Oh my goodness. So I love this as a visual. I may scan this and share it as part of the Journal Together Club on Patreon, because this book is old enough to be able to do that. Yeah, 1927. Okay, so this then talks about why it's the Sylvanora edition. I don't know that they're... Oh, these have really... This is really pretty pages. Gorgeous, gorgeous pages. Okay, so what I think I'm going to try to do with this is we're going to leave this attached and try to just gently crack it here. And then we're going to come in and take a look. And then at the back, are we able to do the same kind of thing with a gentle, yeah, I think a gentle cracking. When I say cracking, we're separating these pages just with my fingers here. I'm not trying to get too rough. I'm just trying to like free the spine here, but leave those pretty end papers intact. Because see, now I can wiggle that away very gently. And instead of doing my usual like super tear up of the spine, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm just going to use this, my little tool here, and take that away. And then these threads, I'm just going to cut them away. So instead of, you know, doing my usual, I'm just going to clean this up. Okay, hold on. Just getting all the gluey spine bits out of here. So instead of doing my usual, like, removal of all these pages, I'm going to leave them in because I just think this is really, really quite nice. Okay, so we've got this one here. And I'm going to obviously reinforce them, but I mean, they are still quite strong. See, they stayed whole. So my reinforcement's going to happen in spite of them, on top of them, instead of like, you know, how I usually do things. And I think I've got one extra page still here that I can, in fact, remove. Yeah, because that's the fly page that's like glued on. Okay, so then I'll be able to maintain these and reinforce them. Someone had tried to sell this book for $71. You know, it's wild, the prices that some people try to sell books for. And I think often they just don't sell. I truly think that. But let's go ahead. We'll erase that penciled in price with this kneaded eraser. Now, this doesn't really bother me. This is the original book owner, and he was quite happy to have this book. He you know, he did his stamping there, and I think that that just honestly adds to the charm of the whole thing. So here we go. We've got this. That will be part of the project. These are just old for backing. I'll get them out of the way. And then I did choose some papers, but first I'd like to go through this and determine what we're going to keep and use from this little front section here. I know that this is going to come out on its own. And this is probably the primary bit that I want. Now, I'm going to separate this. We're going to keep that page for sure. This definitely. She could not conceive a game wanting the sprightly infusion of chance, the handsome excuses of good fortune. Interesting. That picture is kind of whatever. None of that's terribly exciting. Is there anything we might want to keep? I know there's a cute... Oh, I like that chapter called Who Owns the Mountains. That's pretty cool. can I separate this page out? Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, I can. That's the first signature. Or the first page of the signature. Now this happens sometimes, you can get a little gouge, and that's just fine. I can very easily mend that. What I'll do right away is mend it with masking tape, just to keep it whole for now. And I can then decide later what I want to do. I may actually, you know what, I may just cover this whole piece here with this nice masking, because it doesn't interfere in any way with the book, and then it reinforces the nice spine bit. And because this is a junk journal and we like the tattery bits and bobs, I think I'll probably just use only this, well, hold on, I'm going to pull this up. It hasn't had enough time. The cool thing about this masking tape is that it cures in 8 minutes. That's what they sell it as. You've got some wiggle room for 8 minutes until the glue truly cures. So that's kind of fun. Okay. So that's nice. That's neat. Okay. So I don't need to keep that. Who Owns the Mountains? That's quite nice. There was another one called Wild Strawberry somewhere I saw. A Norwegian Honeymoon, Fishing in Brooks, A Fatal Success, Lovers and Landscape, A Wild Strawberry. And here's a poem. Just before the snows, there came a purple creature that lavished all the hill, and summer hid her forehead, and mockery was still. The frosts were her condition, the Tyrian would not come until the north evoked her creator, shall I bloom. There are strange freaks of fortune in the finding of wildflowers. Oh, I love that. I like that more than I like the poem. Okay, let's get that out of there. And then this particular spot seems to want to tear, and I think it's because the signatures are too tight in that one. Sometimes if you've got signature threads that are tied a little tighter, they will pull, right? So you've got to just be gentle and kind of sort it out as you go. This is the one. Perfect. Yep. So yeah, I want that just because of that. There are strange freaks of fortune. That's awesome. Okay, so there's a Wild Strawberry. Talkability. The Thrilling Moment, Fisherman's Luck. Okay, so I think that's what I'll keep from the book. The rest I'll probably use in, like, you know, word snippets, glue book type situation. So that gives me 4 of those. Set those aside. Then I did pull some pages that I figured I would use for this book, and I also found a little kit on the Graphics Fairy that I wanted to use. Now, also in the vein of like using things up, do you have professional memberships to things like Graphics Fairy? If so, are you using them? So I'm also being conscious about that, right? Because this is also a way that we spend our money, that we invest in our hobby, but if you don't use it, then it's not worth it, right? This is a nice old invoice that I'm going to use from 1935. Now this is some old, I'm going to come back to this. This is some old gift wrap. I want to make a couple pages. I was feeling the blues and the yellows for this book, and this is a page out of a color recipes book, and I think I would like to just remove this top kind of more industrial feeling, modern feeling bit here, and probably also the bottom that has the more modern feeling page number. I just don't want them. But the rest I do, and I like that a lot. I may stain this paper a little bit, we'll see. But we're going to fold it in half for now. And then this is just a really nice book page that has this sunflower at the center and then Chinese lanterns and a little bird there. Now this is the kit, or not kit, but some papers from the Graphics Fairy. I'll come to those last. Let's first go ahead and fold up some of the papers. So I've got this one. This is not a page. This is a heavy kind of cardstock, and it's a marbled paper from the papertrail.ca. And I like the colors a lot, and I thought it would be nice for making ephemera with. So I'll set that aside also because I might make a piece of ephemera for the book with that. Then I have this, which is a grave rubbing page that was done with wax crayon. So both sides, here we have memory, YCSPP, probably some kind of a professional, you know, kind of thing. And then back here we have the, this says died January 7th. Like it's just snippets, right? It's bits and bobs. So that will go in the book. And then I have a few nice different shades of yellow here. This paper. It's kind of like a little bit speckly with gray. It's like a little stony. And then this is very kind of buttery feeling. And these are the sort of thicker paper pages that will go in. I like to use these often as one of the first pages in the signature because it gives like a nice handle to the overall signature of the book. And then this is a cutout. This is all paper that was thrifted. And I think I can use at least one of these, possibly both of them in ephemera making. So I'll set that aside. And then I had already a few blue folded pages. And these are some dyed dot matrix pages that I have because I sell my dyed paper. And whenever I find these interesting vintage papers, I dye them up to sell. But I keep a few for myself because, you know, you can't give away all your goodies, right? So this one, so that gives me a little selection of like papers to kind of get me started. And it retains some paper from that lovely old book. So I'll just put those in here. Set that aside. And then I'll get into these. So let's just move this out of my way. And I am going to need a project box eventually here, but for now I'll just set it up here. So I actually printed these out at different sizes. Some are 100%, some are 85%, some are 100. And I do that because I want them to have like different size and different usage. Like they might be in the middle of a signature, so they might be like a little smaller, you know, just kind of mixing it up. But this stash busting is more about like, you know, let's use some of the digital stash that you pay for that you collect. And I mean, another way you could do that, even if you don't have a professional membership to somewhere that provides graphics or printables, maybe you've just purchased some on like Etsy or another place. And maybe you just, you know, you went on a spree because one of your favorite creators had a sale. So you bought, you know, several of their kits while they were having a sale. But now you're realizing like, oh, I've got so many digitals that I haven't even used. This is a good opportunity to kind of, you know, own up to those purchases and give yourself a reason to feel like you spent your money wisely. Okay. This one I'm going to go like this. If you're wondering which of the digital kits from the Graphics Fairy I am cutting up, it's called the Sun, and it is a relatively recent release from them. It's very nice. And I wanted some blues and yellows for this book. I was just really feeling like blues and yellows as kind of the guiding principle for the book would be good. This is a great page. I'm gonna, that's gonna be a center. And I knew that my book was probably a little smaller than a whole 8.5 by 11. So that's why I printed them a little smaller, but you know, it might not be all that much smaller. So either way though, we'll be good. And when I cut all my pages down, I do that after I've like measured the book. I need to tighten up this handle one more time, I think. Again, I haven't done it in a little while. And I know there are some of you who get super nervous about the chopper here. But don't worry, it's very light, this handle. It's a plastic handle. It's not like the heavy guillotines that... I actually have a big wooden guillotine that has that chonky handle, but I have it in another room. I don't use it for this. It'd be too much to pick it up all the time. And I don't know, I just find I like the consistency and the ease of cutting with this. I have so many different cutters, like with the rolling, you know, blades and all these different things, but this is like a no-nonsense chopper, and I like that. It makes things do what I want it to do. That's pretty. Okay, so that's all the chop, I think. I don't think there's anything else I can chop out. Nope. It's called, sorry, this is called Sunbeams, not the sun. Sunbeams. And I did print a few pages, but not a lot, just a couple pages of ephemera. So this is a pocket and insert. Sorry about that, I had a little kid interruption. We're back. Anyway, so here's the ephemera, the Sunbeams pocket plus insert. So you cut out the pocket, you fold the sides in and secure them with glue. Fold the bottom tab in, cut out the inserts and notes and put into the pocket. And they give you 2 of those. Same with this, same kind of thing. I really liked this design. And then these are paper strips collage. So they're just all the kind of images that you see that are in the paper collection. And there are more images I may make use of. I haven't printed them yet. I wanted to see first if like I need to. I've got a lot of cool stuff that I think already goes with like what I want to do with this book. And now I think I would like to try to make a couple pieces of this for the book too, before I go too far. I should also get my project tray. So, oopsie, what was that? Oh, put this little one in there because I'm going to use that. And then these are the pages in the book, of course. And then these are some of the bigger pieces. Maybe I'll cut that down to size as well, so I know what I'm going to be doing. For this spine, I'm probably going to do 5 signatures, maybe 4, but maybe 5. Then, yeah, I can probably cut one of these for this too. I'm not going to use all of this piece of paper. I do want to use some of it though. So why don't I just cut out a piece to use for a piece in this book? And I think that would be nice. And I'll still keep it on hand because you never know. I may end up using it for other related things. But that's all I need for now for the chopper. So I'll set that there as like a piece to work with. That's actually really nice folded as a booklet. You know what? I'm going to do that. Because I think with the right focal point, that's really nice because it's like, it's symmetrical, you know? We'll just bone folder. There we go. That's awesome. And yeah, I'll cover, you know, obviously cover it and I'll do more with it than just that. But let's start there. And then this maybe I'll try to figure out too. So what I was thinking, you know, I can't use it as a folded page because it's too reckless. But this I could kind of, well, you know, I could back it with something like a cool film. You know what I've got? Hold on. I have a couple things. I don't know if this one, what if this has anything starry in it? This is this year's Recollections Halloween, which was like a total disappointing nightmare on the most part. It's the Michaels brand paper collection, and they've gone to like AI hell basically. Priscilla from Release the Craft and did a share of what they got I think on Patreon, and I watched it and like, oh yeah. And I have some of the paper too. I wasn't going to buy it. Someone picked it up for me. I don't have a lot of it, but I have some of it. I have to kind of decide what I'm going to do with it. I don't want a spooky, but I do. Oh, that will be nice. So I was thinking, you know, like if we somehow backed that, it's like it would be cool, but I don't know, maybe not. Because it would still be, like, it would still be a fold. Like if I folded it, it would be possibly a little weird. I don't know. Also, like this book, I don't want it to have spooky vibes necessarily. So no, maybe not that, but hold on. There might be something here. This is exactly what I was thinking. It's so funny. It's the first page. Because yeah, I was thinking this would actually make it pretty cool. So I think it's essentially big enough. Let's pull this out. This is a Diamant book from Swiss Fantasia. It's like a 1991 like paper sample from a weird company. Don't ask me. You know me. I'm a thrifter, right? As you guys know, if you've been here for a bit. Yeah, on the most part, that's going to fit. Awesome. So, I like this side better. It's the side that doesn't have the jaggediness of the cuts. So, what I'm going to do is take my glue stick. Do I have a glue stick? I do. Okay. I know I had to go get another glue stick, but there's a little bit left in this one. I'll use it first. It's quite goopy. I think this is the one I was sitting outside with, and it got warm, and it does two things, this glue stick, when it gets warm. One, it gets way stickier. It gets a little gloopy, but like once it basically, this glue stick usually gives you a little bit of forgiveness, you know, if you've glued something down and it didn't work out. But I've noticed with the ones that get a little softer like this, they're not as forgiving. So you gotta not make mistakes and kind of hustle, because you're never gonna get that up again. Which I suppose is a good problem to have, considering it's glue. You don't want it coming up. Okay. Let me just lay this down. I see two blobs. Let's get rid of those. My desk is a little crowded here. I've got to sort that out in a minute. Okay, lay you down. Okay. The most important part is that we're going to cover the holes, right? These two big holes with this. And I am half considering stitching this on, but I don't know. Nah, I don't think I want to. We'll see. We'll see. Let me think. Oof, I gotta hurry. Okay. Just neaten that up, flatten that out. All right. Life is good. Life is good. That's nice. That's glued down. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of art glitter glue just in the places where I felt like I didn't get any glue, because I was like nervous to mush it up. Right here and definitely here. Just in kind of those curves. I didn't want to go too far with the glue stick and get it on my table. And then here too. Okay. So I think what I'll do now, I'm going to stitch around this yellow paper. I was thinking of also stitching around like this, but I don't want the mark on the back. So, because like it would look cool on the front, but it wouldn't look cool on the back. And then I would then have to add another piece of paper on the back to back it with. And I don't want to do this because the yellow paper itself is, you know, a little thicker. So while the blue doesn't add a lot of bulk, the yellow's already bulky. So let me go stitch this. Okay, before I do that, capybara break, I was just reminded. I need to actually check the size that the paper is allowed to be before stitching, because I don't want to stitch it and have to cut it. So this cover, we're going to say 4.5. So that means this can be 9 lengthwise. Let me check this too. Is that, yeah, it's also too tall. So 9 by, I'm going to say 7.5. So let's trim it. So start with just a little trim here to neaten up this edge. Oh yeah, and this sparkly paper is too thin to get caught by the chopper. Okay, so that's that side done. Then we want to get this to 9. That's a fun scrap. Then I said by 7.5, right? Yeah, so we're going to take a tiny amount from this side. Just a titch, titch, titch. Good. Can I go any bigger? Let's see. Yeah. No, we're gonna just go to 7.5. That's fine. I'm just gonna deal with it. I'm gonna stitch around it now. I'll be right back. So that's all stitched around. That was much easier than I thought, and it's great. So let's go ahead. Now this is the trickiest part. Getting this to fold in half, and then you'll see we're gonna have a couple little spots here that are gonna pop up. And I'm gonna just cut them off because they are not gonna matter at all to the overall look of the page, because you won't see them, right? They're going to be gone in the fold, but I still want this awesome like pattern. So we'll start here. Just be super careful. You don't want to cut that cello kind of paper. And we'll do the same over here. And here. There we go. No holes created. Yay! So this will look cool because, see, if you imagine, you know, that's going to be your page. Okay. So I think that's good. What else do I want to do? Oh yeah, I said I wanted to make a page or two of that other paper. I'll put that in here. This I want to scan because it's really cool. Now, let's try to do a couple of these. So, you know, I'm not going to work every day on the stuff for... Oops, one second. This ruler always wants to fall on the ground. I was talking to somebody online, I can't remember who, and we were talking about the thing. Oh, it was Priscilla from Release the Crafted, about you know, the thing that you lose the most, and it's always like these metal rulers. They are so great, but they're also the noisiest thing in the videos, and they're like the thing that I lose the most and drop the most. Don't know why. Okay, so let's set those aside. As I was saying, this is going to be more of like, this series will be kind of like a variety show in that I'm probably going to be doing something a little different every day. It's not going to be like a series of working just on this journal, although I may also make videos about this journal separately, because I'm not probably only going to do the September stash smash, but yeah. We'll see how it goes. So this is a tricky piece of paper. And I think primarily I will use it for ephemera making. That would be my guess. But you know what? I'm going to make this easier on myself here. I wonder if I can just... Can I tear this on this fold? Will that work? Maybe from this side? Should, yeah. Without too much issue. Good. Maybe I'll use my ruler. So let's think about this. This is tall enough and wide enough, I think. So this in itself, actually, I can... I'm so glad I'm using this up, to be honest. These things are cool, but they're also like delicate to keep in a studio. You know, you don't want to like have it get torn up and ruined. And then this side, let's just tear that down. And then we have these great scraps, right, for making ephemera. Page 1 and page 2. That's a good little ephemera scrap. And then this one, okay, this one's also fine. I think I'll take that off too. So that leaves us with 4 scraps. See, this is like a really good like candidate for stash down. You know, you've created something here and like, you know, maybe you would print some paper dolls or you'd use some existing paper dolls that you have and just kind of use them up. Now, is this paper going to be suitable in my journal? And I gotta check that in a few ways. So one, is it gonna crack and crinkle when it's kind of bent? Let's take a smaller piece and see. Can I crinkle this up without it tearing? Yeah, pretty well, pretty well. I'd say there's one little tear there. But yeah, no, I think it'll be fine as a page. Because when you fold it, the fold doesn't break the paper. So yeah, I think that's going to be fine. And we're going to do some nice, crisp, clean pages from this. We're going to actually cut them. Because the part that's tearing and is tattered, it's because it was the edges. And like, you know, they get bumped around, right? So let's get the chopper. If they were going to be crackly, I would back them with a thin writing paper. But what I'm going to instead do is I'm going to cut a little off this edge and then do the rest to 7.5 here and then our 4.5 here. And that'll give me nice crisp folds, so it's not going to be a concern for tearing. Those are good little collage strip bits. Scraps. Okay. That's all the cutting I need to do. So let's take these and add them to the pages here. Okay. And I'm already liking the colors that I'm seeing for this book. And I know what I'm going to do. So I might do something on the front here. Not sure. May not. May. I'm definitely going to cover this little bit with something fun. Probably with a little punch of that pink or something. Gotta figure it out. Then I think with these paper collage strips, I'm probably going to use those as, you know, a series of different things for in the journal. From small labels to possibly a belly band, possibly a tuck spot. I think collage strips are really great because they're easy to make a very diverse set of things with. Okay, get that bit off my scissors there. So I'll just cut these out, and then as I go, I'll try to, you know, pick from them what I'm going to do. Like that lady's face right here, that could be really nice on that spine. And like maybe with a sun behind her or something. Another thing I just remembered I have that would be really nice in this book. I've got a couple things. So this is a little strip from my Journal Together kit, and then I have this sunflower wallpaper sticker. So, you know, as I'm working, I stop and tend to think about, you know, what are things that I have that would make this journal really good. Another thing is I have this big blue Sophos butterfly, or Morphos, I mean. And yeah, it's a good color for that. So we'll put that in there too as a bit of an inspiration. And then we can cut these two pockets out and maybe assemble them. And when I first saw this one, I love how her dress is the bottom pocket tab. I was thinking like, how would I like to use that in a more creative way? But I think I will use it as intended because that's kind of cute too. But we might want to have this be like a floating pocket. Cut across there, and then you'll see, I think my 1.5, to the best of my ability. Now you don't need to cut these parts out, but there we go. We'll see how well that worked out. It's a risky business. Okay, yeah, it worked. Okay. So then I just need to decide. I guess I would want this to be on the inside. And then those to kind of cleanly cover it. Right? Yeah. This part I'm going to trim a little. I got a little bit crooked. That's better. Okay. So let's close in this pocket. And then this You know, you could even glue these back to back to have a double-sided journal card because, you know, the images are the same. Or you could mix and match it with the other sunbeam pocket inserts here. You know, you could have a butterfly on one side and the girl on the other. But I think I kind of want to put these back to back. It's kind of fun. It's like a mirror, you know, image. It'll also be a great lesson to you in how poorly you fussy cut if if you don't fussy cut it very well. I think I did okay. It's not terrible. You know, the nice thing is like with stuff like this, you go back and you trim and you ink and you just make it nice, right? I tend to spend a good amount of time on these little details, and that's okay. So come in, we'll trim neatly, making sure that there's, you know, minimal white space. And then, where is it? There it is. Actually, I think I might use this faded jeans color to just kind of come around here. And I'm just going to add a little ink on that edge. And then even if you didn't, you know, do such a good job with your cutting or whatever, this is a good way to also mask that. But I think we did fine. I think we did. So this, I think I will also, a little nip there, right? A little bit bulky there for some reason. That happens to me sometimes when I'm folding. I get probably a little too much excess that I've left, and then it bulks up in the corner. There we go. That's actually not bad though. It's just a tiny little bit I had to trim. We'll do the same thing with this to just kind of make it look nice, give it an outline. There we go. Whenever I use blue things, I get them all over me. I think everything blue is like more gushy and juicy than everything else. I don't know why. It's the same when I dye like yarn. I end up getting like blue on me. That's so cute. Yay. Okay, so that's that one. We need to cut out this one now. But you know what? I probably won't make you watch me cut out this second pocket. You probably get the gist. So that is today's first day of the September Stash Smash. So if you want to participate, please do. We can all, you know, clean up our studios together. Hashtag septstashsmash. Okay? So if you participate, tag me. Let me know that you're participating. I would love to watch you annihilate your stash like I'm going to be annihilating mine. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow with another episode of this Stash Smash. And if you have any questions or you're interested in anything, let me know and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.